Hi, welcome to Elise and her books. Today I'm going to do my June wrap up and my July TBR. I'm sorry it's late, I've been lazy basically. So the first books that I read in June were Neverwhere and How the Marquis Got His Coat Back, both by Neil Gaiman. This little one is a novella that goes with Neverwhere, it's in the same world. And I gave both of these a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed these, and it was such a surprise because the only other book I've read by Neil Gaiman was Coraline, so I was kind of expecting, because I didn't enjoy that one, not to enjoy these ones. But I really like them, so I'm so happy that it's opened up the world of Neil Gaiman to me. The next book I read was The Leaving by Tara Altebrando. I gave this only a 3 out of 5 stars. I was kind of disappointed. It had so much potential. If I had written this book, I would have completely changed the way it ended. It had a really weak ending. The beginning, the storyline, so strong, and it just kind of peters out, I feel, and I wasn't impressed with it, and it had so much potential, but such a disappointment. Next in June I read volumes 6 and 7 of the Saga series, so I'm all caught up now. I obviously gave them a 5 out of 5 stars. This is an amazing series. I should really say that it is for an adult audience. I wouldn't advise young readers to read this because it is quite graphic, and yeah, there might be some things that I think wouldn't really be appropriate for a younger audience to see. But I absolutely love this series. Very addictive, and I've now got to wait about half a year or something for the next one, which is disappointing. The next book in June that I read was Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. Right, I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars, and I've decided I'm not going to read any more Paula Hawkins books. I was disappointed with The Girl on the Train. I'm disappointed with Into the Water. If I'm honest, I don't understand what all the hype is about with this author. I just don't get it. Her writing is okay, it's adequate, it's not amazing. I don't understand why she's so popular. I wish I did, because I mean, I'm buying her books, I'm spending money, I want to enjoy them, but I don't. There's nothing special. She's like, her stories are okay, but yeah, I don't get it. Next I went on to read Nailbiter Volume 1, and I absolutely loved this. This is like the perfect graphic novel for me. It's dark and it's about serial killers, and I just absolutely loved it. I loved the atmosphere it gave off, and it was gripping, and I couldn't stop reading it, and I'm definitely going to continue on with the series. Next I went on to read Chew Volume 1, which is a different series, but it's also to do with murders and so on, but it's less dark, but it's, I'd say, more light-hearted. It's less serious, I think, than Nailbiter. But I still really enjoyed this. I gave, 4 out of 5 stars. That's a decent rating. I'm definitely going to continue reading this series, but it's not my favourite of the two. My favourite's definitely Nailbiter. The next book I read in June was The Haiti Gift by Angie Thomas. This was a really good book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and after reading this I just felt so angry with the world. It's just so unjust, and I've never felt close to tears when reading a book. I don't cry with books, but this got me close. I definitely advise reading it. It's very good. So on to my July TBR. I've actually made this a shorter TBR than usual just because I want July to be a more relaxed month, and I do actually get quite anxious if I don't reach my TBR goals, so I decided to make a shorter one this month. The first book that I'd like to read is called Orbiting Jupiter by Gary D. Smith. This is actually one of the books that's in Zoella's 8 picks for summer this year. It's the only one that actually intrigues me, and it's about a young boy who is fostered by a family, and he's got a bit of a difficult background, and he's only 14, and he's actually a father himself, and I'm about a third of the way through it, and I'm really enjoying it, but it's a bit juvenile, I'm finding, so I don't know if it's gonna be a very high rating for me. The next book I'd like to read is Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rush. I've actually already read this and I loved it, but I will discuss it in my wrap up for July. This trilogy has been on my shelf for ages, so I'm really happy that I finally started it. The next book I'd like to read is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, and this is G over at Book Roast's book in a jar of pick of the month. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So basically she picks a book and she has a Goodreads group where people can discuss the book as they're reading it, and then she'll also do like a vlog as she's reading it that she'll put up at the end of the month, and I just like taking part in it. I did take part for A Darker Shade of Magic and I really enjoyed doing it. So yeah, this is a book that's kind of intimidated me and has been on my shelf for a while just because it's intimidated me, so it's a great excuse to read it now. Next, I'm going to be doing a buddy read with a good friend of mine called Rachel. I'll link her channel down below because she's also a YouTuber. And we are going to read Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell. As I said, I just read Wives and Daughters and I really loved it. And I noticed that she was going to be reading this for her university course. And I told her that I had actually just bought it myself and I was really looking forward to it. So she suggested a buddy read and I thought, why not? So this will definitely be read this month. And then the final book I'd like to read in July is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. As I said, I absolutely love Neverwhere, and every time I look at this book I think, oh my god, you are way too big for me to actually invest time in right now. It just seems like a gigantic effort. But what I've been doing is just reading 2 chapters a day. This is 3 days worth of reading. So yeah, 6 chapters and I'm already that far through. So it's a great way of just kind of making an intimidating job seem more easy in a kind of bite-sized way, and I will get this book read this month and I'm sure I'll feel really proud of myself when I do. So that was my June wrap up and July TBR. I'd love to know what's on your TBR in the comments down below. I hope you're enjoying what you're reading and I'll see you soon. Bye!